Welcome to the second game of the Royal Derby.
Man, stakes are getting even higher here as RRQ Hoshi, 1 life left here to be able to secure those points to get into that upper bracket slot of the playoffs. So now we can see Alberttt as well as Kairi both on different heroes. Kairi on the Fanny as well as the Akai. But when it comes down to it, if they go head-to-head on these objectives, the Akai wins, no?
The Akai has a bit more opportunity to just like CC lock Kairi and get the advantage. We've seen that being a pattern. Right now though, in the mid lane, Drian is on that Lilia, and we've mentioned that Drian likes playing a bit more calm and composed. So this might, he might be playing it differently compared to Sans' Lilia that we've come to expect. As you mentioned, Eterna, in the objective game, I think that is where RRQ will try and get the advantage. Especially with the road manipulation, they can use to punish ONIC Esports for overextending.
Yeah, this is what the Hilda can do though. Now Keyboy jumps in with the Jikundo, able to knock him up. Vin has the sprint, will be able to get out. Just distracting Kairi a little bit, but Kairi, he can heal with the Festival of Blood. Town prediction by Axe though, again, based on the draft, all the talents here, both in the Indonesian broadcast and the English broadcast, have opted for ONIC Esports.
I mean, it's tough. They do have equally good drafts. It's just the issue is the damage as well as the aggressivity that ONIC Esports can bring might be a little bit turning in their favor, just a little bit. Especially you can see 3 of the members from ONIC Esports have also opted to bring that sprint. So even if Clay opens up that real-world manipulation, they do have the chance to maneuver through the CC that it potentially can have.
Oh, Boots doesn't have the sprint up top. He's still able to dish out the damage onto R7, who now gets level 4. Goes in for a jab, a knockout strike actually, but Drian is able to dodge away from that one. Drian is going to be able to help Boots shove the wave to create pressure for the turtle. That's already been started by Alberttt, but Keyboy is here as well. Heavy spin is ready, but it's going to be Keyboy who jumps in with the way to Dragon. Alberttt still able to take the turtle onto his own hands with a heavy spin, even getting Drian, securing first blood. Presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. Meanwhile, Kairi doesn't have the retribution. He's going to keep it zoned away. Vin picks up a kill onto him, and they're going to steal the purple buff away. Early game not looking good for ONIC Esports.
I was about to say that ONIC Esports, they have a lot more crowd control, and that was one of the main issues in the previous game. But in this game, RRQ Hoshi making good use of their crowd control source in the form of Alberttt. They get the turtle due to the aggressive play coming in from Vin, not by crowd control, but by pure damage, just pressuring Kairi away from it. And of course, they get that heavy spin pin onto Drian as well. So far, not going according to plan for ONIC Esports. Looking at the emblems, the mid laners want to get their items as fast as possible. It will swing the tides, especially in those big team fights. But for the most part, Kairi will be playing with that fighter emblem, so he'll be not going for the 1v1s for the most part. He will be a bit more utility than usual.
Oh, Kairi not having a good time here. Vin might actually be able to get the kill again. Kairi 1 HP CW as well. Gonna get taken down in the bottom side. Alberttt popping the heavy spin, now invading Kairi's jungle, trying to take away that orange buff from ONIC Esports. RQ already built up a 1.2 thousand gold lead, but Keyboy is looking for compensation. Doesn't really find it right now. Keyboy, with the way the Dragon Flicker, is able to find the damage onto Clay. Kairi comes in to pick up the kill. Real world manipulation was cancelled instantly. Kairi gets it, finally on the board, ONIC Esports.
I honestly still would have preferred Keyboy on the Diggy. It seems like so for the moment that the heavy spin coming in from Alberttt has been one of the main factors as to why RRQ Hoshi have been winning these trades on the board. Now sitting with 1,000 to their name, Vin, as well as Alberttt and R7 going very aggressive into that jungle.
Kairi's not going to be able to get this one. Alberttt Retribution taking the purple buff away as Turtle spawns though. ONIC Esports have the Retribution advantage and they'll go straight for the Turtle. RRQ knows this, they won't even contest. They know the purple buff right now is more expensive than the Turtle, more valuable because it takes away from Kairi's killing pressure and map pressure.
So far, RRQ Hoshi, they're making good use of the pressure for sure. And they're abusing the fact that Vin is on a fighter and Alberttt is on a fighter as well. We talked earlier about not having enough damage in the early game, but when Vin has a bit of execute damage coming in from the kit, and when the opponent is an assassin, they have a lot more success here, but they get pinned down.
Nice way the Dragon. Keyboy very patient as to when he triggers that way the Dragon, and Skylar is going to get chunked to half HP. Oh, that was so good by Keyboy. Did you see that? He went in with the Jikundo. He didn't instantly go for the way the Dragon. He waited up to the last second so that Skylar had to use the BMI, isolating Vin.
Wow. It's great playmaking from the side of ONIC Esports. We've come to expect this, but of course, right now the game is a lot more even than the previous game. RRQ Hoshi, they have their own tools of the trade they can use to pressure ONIC Esports to do what they want. Right now, looking at the items built by both these teams, Skylar is still on the Demon Hunter Sword, so not to his maximum damage potential just yet. Same thing with R7. He is still on the way for his first big power spike, and that will swing the tides in that side lane matchup. The 1v1 will be important.
Yves being picked up instead of the Sicilian has done wonders for RRQ Hoshi, that they're able to maneuver around the map rather well, but here it is. Skylar caught in a 2v1 situation.
Oh, he's able to outplay.
Still able to get out.
Never mind, CW picks up the kill, still able to dash away, actually dodging from everything right now as he looks for a kill onto Clay. 3 members had to move over to the bottom side, and that creates space for them to now jump onto R7. Knockout strike onto 3 members. By the time, Kairi able to get out. He took that litho as well, but the purple buff was stolen away. Little by little, RRQ losing their gold lead.
1-for-1 trade. As we know, CW, Popol and Koopa, it identifies as they're going full on objectives, and that's a scary thing about ONIC Esports. You leave CW alone on the Popol and Koopa, and instantly you can feel that all your infrastructures will fall down like flies. RRQ Hoshi, though, still with a slight advantage in terms of that economy, but not that map pressure, is going to make them fall a little bit behind when it comes to the setup on the turtle.
Neutral objective control. Alberttt is 2 levels ahead of Kairi. They need to be careful here when they go for it. Vin's going to be targeted instantly, just melted down by Kairi and CW. That's the meltdown. Retribution battle comes in. Alberttt with a heavy spin. And the retry comes in. R7 is able to zone Keyboy away. Turtle Lane presented to you by the Samsung Galaxy A series. That's the final turtle of the game.
That really felt like Alberttt was asserting his dominance. In the last second, he used the heavy spin to zone Kairi away. And unfortunately, Keyboy wasn't able to use that Wave of Dragon onto Alberttt with the way that R7 was zoning him away. So now RRQ Hoshi, once again, very aggressive plays here. They are going to be putting a lot of damage onto Drian, but Kairi this time around is going to be able to secure his own buff.
Well, fortunately for Kairi, that is the case, and he will still be able to actually look for opportunities, but it's very limited. The only targets he has are Skylar and Clay, and at this point, they are still pretty secure. They are protected by the rest of RRQ Hoshi. Early on, though, the fact that ONIC Esports has the Popol and Koopa, they are able to use that turret pressure to actually pull members from RRQ Hoshi and ruin their rotations. They are making RRQ Hoshi the team who has the gold lead, who has the momentum, move according to their will.
Right now, RRQ Hoshi already clearing the waves up top. They are trying to deny the pressure that CW can have in terms of that utility and, of course, siege onto the infrastructures. They are going to be putting pressure, though, as the rotation from ONIC Esports are centering towards that top side.
Boots opening up the map, getting hit by the knockout strike, instantly bursted down by Vin as well, but CW is here. Bite him Koopa onto Vin. Keyboy goes over the way of the Dragon, not going to be able to pop that up just yet. Clay targeted down, Drian dealing the damage, but Clay has the sprint. Meanwhile, up top, Kairi picking up the kill. Alberttt in the midst of it all, going on to Keyboy right now. Still has the heavy spin, will be able to use it, but the Shunpu was perfectly timed by Keyboy. Kairi jumping into that back line, Drian dealing the damage onto R7. Again, it's just a 1-for-1. Skylar with a BMI, coming back with the Blazing Duet. Not able to take Drian down. Meanwhile, CW, it's always like that. Meanwhile, CW, up top, down below, mid lane, is taking something.
Just like that, RRQ pressure for the purple buff, but ONIC Esports will be there to shoo him away. They are playing the macro game so well right now. And Drian, he barely survived using the regen to survive the last few takes of damage from Skylar. Both teams are duking it out. And at this rate, it's going to go to the late game. And I can't help but feel that in the late game, Drian as well as Boots, they're going to be able to do a lot more damage. They're going to be able to wreak a lot more havoc in the backline for RRQ Hoshi.
You're right. And that's something that RRQ Hoshi really need to take into consideration. They need to be able to push up the tempo, realizing that Skylar is on the god with the Avarice emblem. So the damage is not going to scale as well in towards that late game. But so far, RRQ Hoshi trying to bait out, I feel, ONIC Esports right now.
He gets to that power spike faster though, and you can see they're melting down the Lord. Alberttt picking it up. Heavy spin popped in to zone Keyboy away. But CW, meanwhile, like I said, it's always CW doing something on the other side of the map. Kairi trying to look for something. Boost jumps in with a falling star moon, able to dish out the damage onto Skylar.
CW?
Kairi jumps in, but CW in the top side will be taken down. A little bit too greedy. He was looking for that base turret, but it did make RRQ rotate up top. Now with this, Kairi needs to be careful. Cable management on point to get out, but it's still RRQ with the Lord.
I think they know at the stage that if they want to go for those contests, it's going to be a little bit too hard. So they're taking a page out of the Aura book, I feel, using CW to look for those split pushes and look for a backdoor type of treatment. As RRQ Hoshi now 1,000 gold only has a lead, but the Lord is on the way here in the bottom side.
It's funny you would mention the backdoor meta, essentially, because CW was initially one of the first people to actually do those backdoors with the Popo and Koopa. If you can't get the B-Tricks, that's the next best thing.
That's what happens. Kairi forced the play onto the purple buff. He wanted to go for the steal, but Alberttt, he knew it with RRQ. They had control over it. Now level 14, yeah, for Alberttt. 2 levels ahead of Kairi. The Lord was cleared away, though. Now, that's my question towards you. Was it worth it trading the purple buff for the Lord for RRQ Hoshi?
I don't think.
Oh, ooh, wait a minute though. A real world inflation locking them in place. Keyboy caught in a bad situation, still able to dash out with a jump boot, but Skylar jumps in with a blazing duet, dealing the damage right now, but it's gonna be stunned up right here. R7 and Alberttt picking up the kill as they jump between the tier 2 and the base turret to pick that up. RRQ pushing their lead to a 3.5k. Kairi in the bottom side trying to deal damage onto R7, but he's simply too tanky. Massive value from RRQ. Never mind, Arashi, it wasn't just traded for the purple buff. It was traded for the tier 2 as well.
Looking at the items right now for Kairi, Malefic Roar as well as Heptaseas. And there's not a lot of burst damage available. He tried to go up against R7 earlier, but he was way too tanky with the Dominance Eyes already secured. So his targets are going to be more and more limited. Whereas for RRQ Hoshi, if they move as a single unit, Clay is going to have a lot more impact in the game the longer the game goes on. The range from the real manipulation is going to be so important, and Clay knows he's going to be targeted. He has an Immortal built in as a third item.
Wow.
That's
very
respect.
early on. This respect is pretty insane from ONIC Esports, but with a 3,000 gold lead, I do think RRQ still scales better here, and I don't know. Do they scale better? With the Yve and the Claude, I honestly do think RRQ have the better late game.
It's a Yve and a Claude going up against an Esmeralda and a Lilia, right? I think overall, it kind of evens out in a sense, but obviously ONIC Esports has an Assassin, which who usually doesn't scale well into the late game. So RRQ Hoshi, they have an advantage just purely because of that. Because Vin, he can essentially perform a quote-unquote assassin role, but still be a very tanky menace in the front line.
3,000 gold for RRQ Hoshi right now as they continue to progress on to this next objective, which is the Enhanced Lord. ONIC Esports, once again, they know they're not going to be able to trade it out. They won't contest, but
Captain R7, wait, CW is able to get out of that one. Blazing Duet popped in, Skylar jumping in. CW still has to put the danger, but no, he does not. He's gonna get taken down. Skylar caught low, Keyboy pinned down for Skylar to take. A disaster for ONIC Esports as RRQ got the Lord and they were able to collapse onto ONIC Esports, who were looking for that split push play, but R7 read it out.
20 seconds on the clock for CW to come back into the fray. Is it going to be enough time though? RRQ Hoshi, they're going straight for this mid base.
No heavy spin just yet. No real world manipulation and no blazing duet. There are a lot of ultimates ready for ONIC Esports though. Drian and Boots can still stall this game a bit longer. They're going for the clear as Kairi jumps in with the cables back and forth, just buying some time, waiting for the right moment to jump in, and they will be able to defend. RRQ though, still with a 5,000 gold lead. Now it's getting really grim for ONIC Esports.
They have to try and make something happen. They do have the tools for a pickoff, but there's way too much frontline on the side of RRQ Hoshi. 3 tanks essentially are available to try and absorb the bulk of the burst damage coming in from ONIC Esports. It will be on the back of Drian to output enough AoE damage. Looking here at the damage dealt by Axe, Drian is still on the top there, along with Boots. So the longer the game goes, with how RRQ Hoshi clump together, Esmeralda and Lilia damage will be massive, but can they output enough damage to take out the front line before their backline gets taken out themselves? That is the main issue for ONIC Esports right now.
And another issue for ONIC Esports is that Kairi hasn't gotten that purple buff for such a long time. That's halters that literally stops the momentum and the power that Fanny has. Kairi, I think at this point, in 1v1 against anyone on the team of RRQ Hoshi, he's not really going to be able to win that out without the purple buff. So RRQ have full control of the side lanes with that.
He's able to escape though there down bottom. I think they're trying to go for that split push once again, trying to maneuver and manipulate the way that their composition drafted for. They have high mobility with the Fanny as well as that damage coming in from Bubble and Koopa. That's the only thing they can do at the stage. If they want to go for a 5v5, they're going to lose out, as we see it happening over and over again.
It's been a long time since I saw a Way of the Dragon engage combo from Keyboy. He seems to be playing a lot more defensively, but Kairi sneaks a turret in the middle of all the chaos, but his purple buff will be pressured yet again. He will be pushing on the other side though. Macro gameplay from ONIC Esports avoiding the unfavorable fight.
And it's the only trade that ONIC Esports can really take at that point, right? You can't really contest the purple buff. He tried it, didn't really work out for him. So he went for a sneak into that mid lane turret. He was able to get it, but now, without the purple buff, Lord is going to spawn. An enhanced Lord in the 16th minute is definitely no joke. It scales with time, and ONIC Esports will not really have the resources necessary to control this one.
R7's not going to be able to come into this.
R7's going to get caught. This is going to be a massive blunder if he gets taken down before the Lord is taken down. R7 buys the immortality in time, buying a little bit more time for CW to take, but look at this. Kairi with the retribution. He comes in. Is it going to be possible? No. The miracle play does not come through. It's a 1-for-1 though. 1-for-2 because the Lord was taken away by RRQ. RRQ now, 5,000 gold lead. They might be able to look for the end, I believe, if they are able to manage the waves properly.
They have to make sure that Drian gets taken out. He is the main wave clear tool, the main DPS source for ONIC Esports in this late game. It's only 17 minutes, but it's pretty late considering the two teams that are battling it out right now. They are managing the waves really, really well right here, making sure that the Lord comes in last but not least.
That was beautiful though by R7. He swapped one of his items for immortality right before he died so that he could waste a little bit more time for ONIC Esports so that they cannot go to save Kairi. But now, as you can see, perfectly placed moves there from Drian in the mid lane, instantly clearing that out, and that's the power Lilia has in the game. 17 minutes in, RRQ might start to get frustrated, not able to end the game.
But it's weird, right? Because they do have the high ground, they do have the options as well as that CC to look for something. Sure, the Hilda isn't as dynamic, but here we go, real world manipulation.
Yeah, Alberttt is going to be in the front there. Biden Koopa popped in. Alberttt looking for the play. Heavy spin, going to be able to bring Drian back all the way, pinning him down. But Boots is doing amazing right there. He's able to jump onto the other members. Kairi coming in, taking the kill onto R7. Albert's immortality popping in. Drian picking up the kill as well. Skylar and Clay forced to run away. And like I said, RRQ, we've seen them in this situation so many times. They're always able to get that lead. They almost are able to end the game. They don't. They stay too long, overextending. ONIC Esports are able to capitalize and punish.
Only a 3.4k gold difference left right now between these two teams. And the longer the game goes, the more the early game execution won't matter. It will come down to the actual macro play, the tactics, strategy, and execution. Because ONIC Esports, they are absolutely catching up right now. And RRQ Hoshi, they need to start being worried.
Uh-oh, if they get picked off one by one like this, it's not going to be good. Keyboy is here. He has the Way of the Dragon. He's going to jump in right there. Still having the Way of the Dragon. Immortality popped in for Finn. Laser Duet coming in. CW cannot run away. He's going to get taken down. And again, ONIC Esports, Keyboy still able to bounce. R7 jumps in, going for the damage as Keyboy's going to get pinned by the heavy spin once again. Keyboy getting out. It's a 2-for-1. Still in favor of ONIC. Wow.
RRQ Hoshi, their gold lead is diminishing right now. Kairi already picking up that Immortal as well, and he's going to do a little bit of a revenge story here, taking away Albert's buff this time around. So, you know, in the early stages, Alberttt, you were able to take my buff. Now it's time for me to get yours. ONIC Esports now with the map control as those minions are pushing there in the bottom side, even taking away of infrastructure that RRQ Hoshi has.
They might be able to set up for the next Lord right here. It will depend on what they do right now. Kairi will be able to have a purple buff ready for the next fight. If he can jump onto Clay and pressure him away, that will be very, very critical in deciding who gets control over the Lord area. In this late stage of the game, it looks like RRQ Hoshi, they have to be worried about the CC and damage coming from CW, but also Drian, because he is the one doing this AoE burst damage that's just taking everybody out.
And now with the purple buff, Kairi can actually put pressure onto the side lanes without risking his life, right? He's very mobile. Unless 4 members from RRQ go towards Kairi, they're not gonna really be able to take him down. Look at Popo though.
CW.
Oh my God, look at the movement coming in from ONIC Esports. They're going in onto the Lord while simultaneously going it. This might be a mistake, but Kairi is able to get out. CW caught in the midst of it all. Has the sprint. Meanwhile, the Lord was taken low, and man, that was beautiful by ONIC Esports. Retribution again. Beautiful.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning. ONIC Esports, the macro geniuses. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. That was astonishing.
That could have ended really badly. That was a huge risk. If ONIC Esports weren't able to implement or execute that to perfection, they would have lost the game, Mirko. If CW was taken down, that would have been RRQ's game to win. But now, ONIC Esports have been able to bait Alberttt out, bait RRQ Hoshi out to the top side, take the neutral objective in that Lord, knowing that if it goes 5v5, they wouldn't be able to get it out. And this is just insane
400
right now.
IQ.
400 IQ, man. They pull RRQ Hoshi away with the potential for Kairi and CW to pull off a backdoor. The backdoor threat right now is more real than ever, especially the longer the game goes. No team would want to lose the game in that fashion. Now with the waves pushing in, ONIC Esports is setting up. They have the tower demolitions expert in the Popo and Koopa. They will try and get massive value. RRQ Hoshi, they are the ones on the back foot. They do have the real world manipulation though. They won't go down without a fight.
Let's see, Vin already getting targeted here by Kairi. He needs to be careful. He takes a chunk out of Vin's HP. No immortality ready will mean that Vin will have to walk back all the way. Meanwhile, the Evolved Lord charges down the bottom to top side, taking the turret down. Base turret number 1 taken down. R7 already dealing damage onto Keyboy, but Boots is so tanky. He's going to be able to take so much damage and even maybe able to actually zone RRQ members away. He's charging that Falling Star Moon off. I don't think he's going to go for it. Evolved Lord cleared out for RRQ for now. R7 trying to deal out of damage onto the mini waves. Real world inflation popped in, but Keyboy comes in, bringing Clay back. Still, amazing peel coming in from Albert with a heavy spin. Finn gets taken very low. Skylar jumps in with Blazing Duet, but might be taken down. Kairi comes in to take the kill. Clay now trying to defend right here. R7 trying to buy the time. Boots again, just jumping, zoning the other members away.
My God, no members on the side of ONIC Esports have been taken down, and Skylar, of all people, was taken out of the picture. ONIC Esports have done a great job of baiting out these really important resources from the side of RRQ Hoshi, like the real world manipulation, like the Blazing Duet coming in from Skylar, as well as R7 and Albert's heavy spin. ONIC Esports, they're pushing this once again without Skylar.
No, Skylar, Kairi in the back lines. Alberttt gonna get bitten by the Koopa, stunned up, immortality taken down. R7 goes in for the knockout strike, trying to peel for Alberttt, but Kairi jumps in on the base, buying so much time with the cables once again. All they need to do is target the base right here. CW going for it, immortality's popping all across the board, but CW is going for the base. It's a clutch defense, but ONIC, the macro prowess combined with the micro, perfect combination seals the deal. What a performance by ONIC Esports.